Hello everyone, a big warm welcome to all of you on the expert series of the Special Needs Children podcast. Thank you so much for your time to agree to do this particular interview with me, and we look forward to a fantastic one coming up. So I am really delighted to have with me Mr. Manu Sekar. Manu is the founder of HashHackCode, a social enterprise making tech education inclusive and accessible for everyone, regardless of background, age, or gender. Driven by the belief that every individual has the potential to thrive, Manu focuses on using coding to develop cognitive skills and create meaningful opportunities for individuals with autism, ADHD, dyslexia, and Down syndrome. He is passionate about breaking down barriers and fostering a supportive space where learners of all abilities can grow, innovate, and succeed in the ever-evolving tech world. So, looking forward to a fab conversation, Manu. Deep diving straight to you. First of all, thank you so much for coming in, and I hope this was not difficult coming over and, after all of your travel all over the country.
I should be thanking you. I know it's a pleasure to be here. I'm looking forward to conversation like you, as you said also, right?
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're just recovering from the HashHackCode Awards, and we'll be seeing a lot of that all over the media. But Manu, could you please start with a bit about your background? What inspired you to come into this space to launch HashHack? First of all, what is HashHackCode, and how did this entire journey start for you?
Definitely. So HashHackCode, what we do is we focus on inclusive tech education. We believe that education should be accessible to everyone. So that's been one of our mission. And we worked with diverse set of students, from students on the spectrum and slow learners, fast learners, whoever it is. We've been able to empower every individual to grow and learn. And one of the main difference between us is we use coding as a means to develop cognition, not just as a tech skill. Now, just like how you're learning English language skill, ABC, you need to learn cognition so you can your reasoning skills are developed. Today, we are in a world where AI is in part of all our life. It's even before, like, you used to get answers with Google. Now you get solutions. How do you identify how do you ask the right questions? That's what we develop. That problem solving and processing critical thinking skills is what we work through our curriculum in HashHackCode. Coming back to how this all started, right? So I actually did my graduation abroad. So I studied in multiple countries. I went from Malaysia to France to Italy, UK, like this. And I wanted to come back home to start my own company. I started it as a development company. We went to marketing automation, app development, things like this. I was amazed just with a laptop how I was able to build my company. And I think one of the key success that I had is also my language skills that played a role. So we had clients from Middle East, US, UK, it just happened like that. And I wanted everybody to have the same opportunities that I had. This is the exposure in life that we had early on. So we started working with young women and from marginalized background. We taught them to code. We paid them to learn, and we skilled them, and they started working on a project. With time, we really got good in teaching coding to diverse set of audience, from marginalized young girls to people who cannot speak and hear, to senior citizens, to young kids also. When you think about diversity, you think about gender, culture, race, but you don't think about human brain and mind. So that's been our own journey, right? It's been a journey in diversity for us. So one of our client daughter was autistic, and she invited us to take part in an event. Then a couple of parents wanted us to do something. And for me, right, as a general public, I didn't have any exposure to autism or neurodiverse. I didn't know much. It's just very few things. But like I said, I come from a background where I see people for who they are. Like when we had the first student, I didn't see him with his label. I just saw, okay, this person is that. What can I do? And I think that mindset just grew from there. So we started with 3 students, then went to 20, 50, 100, and we scaled across the country, and even from countries to countries. Today, I think more than 1,000 students have impacted neurodiverse. So that's been our journey.
Wonderful. Really amazing, because, from here on, the unique, what focus you had on neurodiverse, and then, why did you do that? What motivated you to go? Is there any specific reason that you chose to, also work with?
I didn't see like that. I just saw the people, and I was welcomed. So there was no reason, there was no bigger calling or anything. It's just like, now I see them as my family. I keep telling people that, I'm not trying to build a company, but a community.
Huh.
So it's just, that's what happened. I didn't really feel like, okay, I have to do something here and all. It just felt like a family. That's what.
And, by doing this, do the adults, whoever is taking this course, all the courses that, you are running, we could also understand more about them.
Yeah.
And does that help them in getting a job or a placement? How does it empower them?
See, what we do in our course, right? We build foundational thinking skills. This is what somebody was telling me. Instead of saying learn to code, you should say learn to think.
Yeah.
So the students have gone through a course. Again, we had young kids who are 8. Now we started with 4, 5 and all. And we have old who are like 34. Like it's across the age. Now here they went through a foundational skill where they've been able to specialize. And then depending on the opportunities, they were able to do something. I'll come back to that also.
Right.
In terms of a course, right? So what we did is, we used code, like I said, coding as a means to develop cognition. The way we approach is also very different. We didn't do coding to develop an app. We used coding to develop the thinking skill. Like you see, we build small logics, and our curriculum is also very graded. So even if a student doesn't understand initially, they pick it up. So it goes on an experiential based learning. So students who could not sit for 10 minutes or 15 minutes are now sitting for 60 minutes and beyond and coding. That interest was built. And the other thing, what happened is that processing skills got developed. So once you generalized, right, then we were able to specialize students in web development and things like this. So our focus is also, we are working towards an inclusive workplace kind of a thing. So what we are considering here is that, there are 3 types of employment if you look at. One is independent employment. Second is sheltered. Third is maybe inclusive employment. Now, the larger companies, right, when they grow, it's difficult because you cannot segregate one person for everybody. So I believe that's, while some are able to get, not many. For me, it's always been that, we work with a diverse set of people. We never said no to anyone. So everybody should get an opportunity. So through our course, students, independent employment, where they had, instead of focusing on putting them into a company, focus on building skills that will enable them, that will contribute meaningfully. Then people will come automatically. So that's been our goal, to build a foundational skill where tomorrow they can specialize and grow. Learning is not a one-time thing. It's a continuous. So we want to provide as much of support to upskill somebody throughout their journey.
Yeah. So correct me if I'm wrong. You're saying that you're teaching these thinking skills.
Yes.
Some of the kids would go ahead to, a data entry level kind of work. Some would actually go into coding.
Yes.
With the code word today is understood as coding, writing code for various applications, right? So please explain to the audience, what is it exactly? How do you break this down through your courses? How do you teach?
So the students who go through our course, right, even though they learn coding, we start with HTML, CSS first, but HTML, CSS is a programming language used for web development. But we don't get entirely into web development. Like I said, we teach programming through pattern. It's very visual. They see what they're doing in real time.
Okay.
So that visual analysis, things like that is built upon. Now, students who have gone through our coding course, they have not necessarily went into coding. They went into design, they went into other things, and even analytics. Like that, we built the thought reasoning.
You're building the base to be able to do everything else.
Yes, exactly.
Not necessarily only one particular direction in terms of web development.
Yes, and today I think the world is shifting. See, before, even when we used to code, it's not like we sit and write the code. We used to go to Stack Overflow, Google, research and copy paste. Coding has always been like taking a whole spaghetti and mixing together. That's always been the way of code. That's everything in life also. You're not going to recreate anything. You just have to find out what to reuse. Yeah. That's the idea here. So we are in a world where solutions will come to you. So with AI, so there are 2 ways what happens, right? An expert can do 10 people's job, or a beginner can do an intermediate level of work. So it's important that you have this higher order thinking that whether it's design, analytics, whatever it is, you will get the support. But how do you utilize the tool to implement the solution that you want? So that's what I want to focus on. What I've noticed, right, the students have gone through our course, right, we've been able to specialize them in multiple things. Like today, There are students, like we built our own learning app where our students contributed to it. From the curriculum design part to the coding part. And initially we didn't teach AI because AI was going through a lot of drastic change, and we also wanted to wait to see where it's going to stabilize. But we noticed that our kids, without us doing anything, are generating images and stories, because you develop that thought process, that ability to learn and understand and process. It's universal enough that they can apply it anywhere.
Wonderful. Lovely. That's fantastic. So, moving on, why do you think digital accessibility is extremely critical for people with disabilities? Right. So, if you could just break it down a little more for a neurodiverse person, accessing any kind of devices,
Yes.
anything that, so, they could be at various ends of the spectrum. But how has been your, the way when people start doing this, when they start learning, what changes? What have you seen?
Yes. So I will come segment by segment. So first, there are kids who have zero exposure to technology itself. So we, like I said, we started with coding courses, but we also developed logic courses. So there's a course called Early Logic, which fundamentally works on cognitive worksheets. This has been a great way to introduce computers.
Right.
Most of these kids are tech savvy in the sense they get mobile phones, and so they are intuitively digital friendly. But when it comes to a laptop or a desktop, because that's where most of your work is also going to be used, that hand-eye coordination, mouse control, everybody struggles.
Yeah.
So I seen that, kids through our course, it's not only the cognition, like I said, tech skills also been built here, especially the mouse control. They got more familiar. That is one. Second, even to sit in front of the computer, right? That because the curriculum and the UX is designed in a way that it builds that interest, they're sitting for more than 20, 30, 40 minutes. You're able to make them sit in one place and enable them to learn.
The entire focus, concentration, everything is building up, and the interest is there, and therefore they're learning much more and much faster.
Yes. The other thing, apart going from mouse control, even the keyboard. So the double press is not something they do. Like, in coding, you have to press control and something else.
Right.
So that also they slowly picked up. Okay. And many schools who taught, schools or even parents, organizations, who taught a child might not be able to. So generally we tell them, you do a camp. You just give a chance to the child. Right. And they've seen that the child can do. This is shown. Because tech is very friendly. It doesn't discriminate, right?
True. Very true.
So that is another thing. In terms of the larger part, I've seen kids' processing speed increased. Like we did a study in one of our code labs where it was students with ID, and they didn't have exposure to tech. So what we did is we recorded the first lesson and made them do it after 6 months. Their typing speed was more or less the same. What took them 1 hour, 40 minutes, they completed in 30 minutes. The ability to reason and process.
Yeah.
And we see this consistently across all our students, like they are able to identify where they made mistake. They're able to communicate, like instead of grammar, reasoning to communicate. So those things have developed.
I'm sure what you're doing in front of a computer will gradually be, it will affect a life overall, and you can't exactly correlate, but I'm sure that it translates, and it goes into various areas.
Agreed, yes.
And it helps in a big way.
Yes.
Wonderful. So going back to your journey, from the time you started, what were some of your challenges? Can you share even what I wanted to know is, who resists the most? When you're trying to do this and you're trying to explain to people that do this, it will help. What happens? What all do you face?
See, any learning is a good thing.
Yeah.
And this is something that I learned also from neurodiverse individuals, that patience is a virtue, definitely. Because I think many times what happens is that people, I've seen that the confidence on the child is not high, but the child will do. Every child has potential. It's just the way we give the curriculum, the learning, and the way we teach them, I would say. Every child should be given a chance. So this has been always a doubt whether the child can do. And I hope, if they have more, I think when they see in action, then they believe.
Right.
So that's been the case. So that's one of the biggest challenges that we saw. So we generally tell, give him a chance, give him or her a chance.
So you are talking to a parent or you're talking to an institution? Because I
Both
heard you
ways
saying
it goes.
you're talking to both.
Yeah, we work with, so what happens is that parents can learn directly with us online, or if they want offline, they go to one of our partner code labs also.
Okay.
So even in the code labs also, the constant feedback is, we never thought this child will be able to do this.
Correct.
So that's been the case. So I think everybody should have an opportunity, whether they pick up or not, doesn't matter. That it will transcend into some other way.
Yeah.
Like you said, right?
Yeah.
So that's.
So how many years has it been for you with HashHack?
We started, so I started TechDiva was the first thing, with women, gender diversity. So that was like 2012, 2013. HashHackCode came in 2019. And I think it's like 4-5 years now. So
and how did the name come in? HashHack.
Oh yeah, so initially when we developed the first couple of lessons, we used to hash the certain words.
Okay.
So you had to unhash it, hack it, code it. So that's why HashHackCode came.
Lovely. It has a fantastic ring to it.
Thank you.
Really.
I think there were a lot of parents who couldn't pronounce the name. They were like, please change. I was like, no, I will not change. You keep it. Like that was
No, it's lovely. So, what role do you think the government, in terms of policies and even attitude from the society, what can possibly help in the future of digital accessibility? What are your thoughts on that?
See, I think I'll just come back to our mission. Maybe I'll answer with that. So our first mission was that everyone can learn. Today, my next mission is that everyone should have a meaningful career. Yes. And I think accessibility, digital accessibility and inclusion plays a role in both of our missions.
Yeah, it's like a foundation. It has to be, it's almost hygiene now that
yes,
you have to be able to know how to use.
Correct. So what the struggles that I see, right, when you do inclusion, especially for neurodiverse, it cannot be for a certain segment. It has to be for everyone. Like I could have there will be a day when I might be obsessed with something. Like you cannot segregate inclusion. And when you go to a larger organizations, right, it's difficult. It's not possible. So I think there needs to be a model that's created where, you show how to give a task to different individuals together. And that's what we are working towards today. Today, our goal is to make an inclusive company where it can be a model. What I've understood is that it doesn't have to be one person who's doing a job. It can be multiple people supporting to do a task.
Right.
So in terms of accessibility, like the information that is given, the task brief, that is, whether it's learning or even work, those things you need to consider cognition level. This is where you shouldn't just talk about screen readers or we'll talk a lot about physical access, digital access. You need to look more into cognitive accessibility. Like this will enable everyone.
Yeah. So, when you say screen readers, what do you exactly mean?
Screen readers where it reads text to speech, like for visually impaired or even people who cannot, like even for certain neurodiverse students also has been enabled. But what if that sentence and para is complex? How will one person process? The information load needs to be more segregated. And there should be a divide where each individual can process. I would say that focus should be that. That can be a first stepping stone.
So when you're saying screen reader, you're saying that you're teaching how to do it?
No, I'm not talking about screen. I'm talking about cognition level. Screen reader are tools that already exist.
Tools that are already there,
yes. Yeah. Where most of the time we talk about accessibility, we talk about the color change, right, color inversions and screen readers, things like that. But we don't talk about the content themselves.
Correct.
So I think that should be a focus.
Okay.
Like today, many neurodiverse students who are skilled by us are not able to get into a larger organization because the way the tasks are given, even though they have the skill set, people do not know how to work.
They don't know. Yeah. Right.
And that's the same thing with learning also, right? Like if you go to a mainstream, whether apart from NIO, CBSE and all, the information is not provided in a way that they can process. So process the information where that's suitable for everyone.
So this is what you're telling as the answer to my question on what should, say, a government, what should they look at? How should they provide the information, the data, the content, so that it becomes easier for processing?
It becomes easier. And this works for across the community, from neurodiverse to marginalized to elderly people.
Right.
We don't talk about this much.
Yeah.
And I think we should talk about this more.
Absolutely agreed. So how can we advocate for some systemic changes, especially for people with disabilities? What more can we do? What do you think in terms of course, the awareness space? What more can be done to talk more about digital accessibility? And what are you doing, if you can share?
For me, the way I approached this, maybe I'll share our own journey. So one thing, what we did as an organization, right? We wanted to show that many times people don't believe that these kids can contribute.
True.
That's been so we thought the best way is to showcase through their tech skills. So during the COVID times, we built a COVID-19 website, data website for visually impaired. So basically, we took neurodiverse individuals who made something for the visually impaired, and that got promoted in multiple leading media or newspapers and things like this. So it showcased what the capabilities. And then I remember we built one NFTs with neurodiverse individuals where we showed autism is a spectrum, and we made into a different NFT cards like this.
Okay.
So I think they have to showcase.
True.
So people will believe that it's possible. The awareness needs to come.
No, it's so important because I think, as you said, whether it's marginalized or it's gender, that whole tail end, something is provided to people who are, you feel that they can do, etc. Those who cannot do anyways are not even exposed to it. And disability comes literally in the bottom end of the spectrum. But as you said, if we can expose them and, get them on board, why not? It's their right, and it helps improve their entire life, and this kind of skill will last for the rest of their lives and will impact the whole society, altogether. So another question to you is, I heard you say there is resistance from families also. So what would you tell families? What would you tell families, friends? How can they become better allies at promoting digital inclusion and, entire accessibility? This whole revolution, we have to do it. Otherwise, the world is going at a particular speed and our children will be left behind.
Yes, I agree. See, I think maybe again, I will compare it back to us.
Yes,
that'll be better.
Yes.
See, in our office, right, we have the team in Chennai, we have people from different backgrounds. Okay. And one of the way we are making it more inclusive and accessible for everyone is like when somebody doesn't complete something on time, we're not trying to get the fittest of the fit.
True.
Instead, we're trying to we work with them to understand what is the issue. And then we keep giving them a chance. I think that's the first point. If somebody doesn't understand what you're saying, try to see how they're processing it, and then that will enable.
True.
Then they will get in, because each individual neurodiverse is so diverse, right? Each individual process information. So I cannot say this is the best. The only thing is you have to go case by case. But if one person is not comprehending it, go take a step back. See if the information you're providing is something that they can process. Maybe if you start doing this, you start doing this to everyone around you.
Yeah.
That would be a best.
Can you share any particular instance that comes to mind in terms of, how you took a step back and what you did?
I'll give you. So when, like I mentioned, when we developed our learning app, okay. So there were multiple frameworks that are available for coding and all these things from your React and all this stuff. It would have been easier and also very highly skilled individuals could have contributed. But what we had that. We started off with that only. Then we realized we wanted everyone to contribute. So what we did, we created our own framework, which was more simpler. Like you have this, instead of having multiple, I'm just going to give you an English example. Maybe that's more easier to compare with. So instead of having a multiple para, just take the extracts of the keywords, more simple words that you use.
Yeah.
Like the vocabulary level also matters. So these are the things that I've understood.
True.
And don't mix many informations together.
Yeah, keep it as simple as possible.
Yes, and structure.
Straight.
Yes.
Structurally.
So we have something called Hash framework. It's our own framework that we developed, and that's what we use for all our learning apps. Today, that's a step that we took, even though it's harder to maintain, but it made it more accessible and inclusive for everyone.
Right.
So that's it.
Lovely. Great. So what's your vision for the future, going ahead with your team as well as broadly for digital accessibility? What are you all thinking? And
great. So today I'm working towards my second mission.
Okay.
So I keep telling people that, I'm not building a company, I'm building a community. This is what we're doing. Initially, when we started HashHackCode, we were doing our own individual classes and we didn't really partner with anyone because we were not sure about the learning experience.
Right.
But today we made a learning app where the learning experiences are always the same. But beyond that, I want to identify partners. The reason is that we are setting up code labs across the country, not because we want to get more students, but because we want to enable them. Tomorrow I want to convert into inclusive workplace. Like I said, right?
Yeah.
There, everybody should have a meaningful career, somewhere you can grow and belong to. And my overall goal is to create that ecosystem. While there are people who are in the current ecosystem people are doing, I want to create an alternative version of it. Where we are starting from ground level. So we're able to do much things differently.
Yeah.
So I hope to build a place where, whether it's people from marginalized or neurodiverse or disabled, where everyone can come together, work, meaningfully grow. That's the vision that we have.
Beautiful. So if I were to put it down in a different way, is that today if there are organizations who are giving you a lot of work, they are your clients. Here you're empowering and you're teaching a whole community who can be part of your team.
Yes.
To do this work together and to deliver those solutions to whoever is out there who's willing to, come to you, knowing fully well that you're doing this not just with anybody in the community, but there is a whole kind of mixture of all of these kind of different varied abilities who are coming together to
That's the vision, right? That we're having.
So that's your own company that you're envisaging, that you're building it like that.
Yes, that's the bigger vision. So from skilling to assigning tasks, all these things we have got. It's been a journey. So we understood how to assign tasks, how to pair people, how to complete tasks with neurodiverse individuals. And now we, like I said, the reason why we are working with organizations across the country is to enable. Today they are learning, starting as a code lab. Tomorrow, inclusive workplace. Then we'll have this whole stream of pool of talent, right? So,
I mean, this is fantastic. I think collaboration is the best way to go, because that will definitely help increase reach. It will go much faster, and you already have an established, beautiful, what you have proven, your projects are in place. So it's just about going. I hope people are more receptive and they're willing to give this a good shot. So we have to urge all parents, families, everyone in the community, or even organizations who are willing to come to you, and they should understand what is available here, and that will only help all of our individuals. So thanks a ton. It was wonderful chatting with you. Thank you so much for sharing about what all you did and how your journey was. I'm sure people would love to reach out to you also. We will share your details, and let's hope that we'll catch up in a couple of years again to see what you've achieved.
Thank you. I also hope for that. And I think next time when we catch up, I want to have a larger, all our beneficiaries coming and talking. That would be very
wonderful,
nice.
Wonderful. We'll definitely do that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Do continue listening to the Special Needs Children podcast. Hope you found this very interesting. Do subscribe to the podcast too and share with everyone you know. Thank you.